shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you. Eyes in the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you. Eyes in the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Saturday afternoon now. It's game week 2. It's finally upon us. I'm going to turn my light on again. I always forget. Game week 2 is now upon us. Not that it's going to make a difference. It's daytime. It's a sunny day outside. I'm not going to make a massive stream. This is just going to be going ahead and talking about team selections. I was hoping the game would have updated right now. It's I don't think the game's started back up again. Still updating, so we'll wait and see what Steve-O's done to his team. I want to react to see how Steve-O's done. I want to hear what you guys have done. Who have you picked as captain? Who have I picked as captain? And get a couple of you guys on to just talk to me about your last minute decisions. Did you bring Pookie in? Did you go with Salah? Are you worried that Salah's not going to get all the minutes? Welcome, guys. Welcome, Aussie Boy FPL. Welcome. I get Gabriel DeRop, Nishal Yusuf, Will Adams. Welcome to the stream. Ryan0605, Carl Kirsten, Yash, Dereko's here, the Chelsea fan. Dereko, how you doing, buddy? You got Pulisic in? Cameron Rudge, Anuraj, Will Adams, Gavin Gold, Gatam's here as well. Cameron. Davey P. Davey, we were having a good chat earlier on, weren't we, Davey, about Salah? And Simon Andreasen, and a lot of you guys here, it's great to have you back. It's great to have you back. Steve-O will be doing a solo stream later on today to react to the actual games of this game week. Like I mentioned, this is purely just to go through some of the top players in the Cash League, see who they've chosen in their starting lineup. So probably not going to be too much of a difference, to be fair. And mainly the captain picks I'm looking forward to seeing this Saturday. Pookie Party inbound, says Cameron Rawcliffe. Absolutely. I did post out on Twitter and in Discord this morning who the transfer I made. I did in fact join the Pookie train. So I'm interested to see what Steve-O says to that. And guys, if you could do me a favor and let me know when the game's updated, that would be great. Because as you can see, I'm still waiting to get that screen up. So if we can get get a few of you guys on in the waiting room. Let's start it off. Come and join us on Discord, guys. Get the link in the chat. Get you on there. Steve-O will be livid, says Carl Kirsten. He will be. There's a bit of a rumor going around at the moment. I'm not sure how true it is. A bit of a rumor about King, possibly a family member being ill or something, may not be featuring. I don't know. I just need to message my friend because he's coming over. Yeah, one second. So I've got a few guests coming over this afternoon. That's why I'm trying to get the stream done now. 1 moment. Right, there we go. Sorted. Okay. But yeah, who's your captain picks? Let me know what your captain picks are in chat, and we'll start reading them out. Let's see if we can get anyone on air. Let's see if anyone's waiting to come on air. Nobody yet, guys. Come on. Somebody wants to talk about their team, I'm sure. 101 people watching this Saturday deadline. Right. Aubameyang for captain. Tim's got Aubameyang. Andy Bick's gone Aubameyang. Show Me the Mane's gone with Sterling. Sterling for Anish as well. Will Adams gone with Salah. A lot of Sterlings. I'm seeing a lot of Sterlings here. I mean, I had a debate, right? And this is the thing. This morning in Discord, we were talking about captaincy picks. And the way I see it, I own Salah already, right? I know that Salah is going to probably do something against Southampton. But I've just got this gut feeling that Sterling has got the potential to score more. So the way I see it, like, I will still get the Salah points. I just, obviously, they won't be doubled. I can't see Salah getting 10 or more points against Southampton. So I just thought the game is about risk versus reward for me. The higher the risk, the lower the risk, the higher reward. And I think that going with Sterling gives me way more potential reward. I didn't do it last week, and I should have done. So I've done it this week, and I'm hoping that I'm going to benefit from it. So what are you guys saying? Dinya captain says switch dude. Aubameyang, Alan Ward's got Aubameyang. If I had Aubameyang in my team, then that would have been up there with a top candidate to captain. I don't think I'm that brave, Carl. I think Sterling is a pretty good pick this week. There's people saying that they don't expect Spurs to let many goals in against City, but I think City can demolish any team this season. Their lineup is so strong, and I've obviously got KDB in there as well. So Martial in, Serge in chat, Sergey saying he's got Martial in, Bernardo Silva out. Oh, that could really, I mean, fair enough. That could be a genius move, or it could be an absolute howler. Salah captain, Serge. Nice one. So yeah, guys, come and join me on the Discord. Come into the waiting room. You guys, don't be shy. Let me know what your team selections are. If Aussie Boy FPL says if Steve-O doesn't captain Sterling and you do Sterling, is in for a brace. I mean, I'm going to call it now. I think that Steve-O is captain Salah purely because he likes to go safe. It's very rare that I've seen Steve-O do something that kind of breaks the safety sort of template, really. Captaining Dinya, yeah, Carl Kirsten. Captaining Dinya that's I mean, that to me is crazy. I mean, do you know something that I don't? The best of luck to you. The best. That is very, very, very risky. I was talking about risk versus reward. I mean, that's a lot of risk there for a potential reward. Sterling captaincy, Lundstrom in for Mora, says Jason Costa. Loads of people saying that they don't. I mean, this is the crazy thing. Obviously, people got Mora in for game week 1. They set the team up with Mora, and then after game week 1, they just wanted to get rid of Mora completely. A lot of people were thinking to do the Mora to Son switch, but they're doing it early now. Obviously, they don't like the chances of even Boona doesn't like the chances of Spurs assets against City. I think. Do you guys think this is a question I want to ask? Do you think City are going to keep a clean sheet today? Put yes or no in chat if you think City will keep a clean sheet against Spurs. Hey Fast Air, how you doing? I captained Aubameyang this week. I think that's a very, very, very good pick as a captain. Oh, okay. Right. So overwhelmingly, people in chat are saying no. That's interesting. So a lot of you guys saying no. Kane will score, says Kane. So it says Cal H. Jason saying a clean sheet. 5-0 says Rad Robbie to City. That I'll take a 5-0. I really would take a 5-0. Sterling has never scored back-to-back double figures before. Dilly B, hey Dilly B, hi Dylan, how you doing? So yeah, have we got anyone in the waiting room? We haven't got anyone in the waiting room. I'm going to check to see if this game is updated. Surely we're going to have one of you guys wanting to come on and talk about your last minute decisions. Otherwise, this stream is going to be quite short. This is. I take it you captain Sterling. Yeah, I did, Llama. I did. I captain Sterling. And I brought in Pookie for King as well. And if King doesn't feature, if this news is true that King is not going to feature, then I'm going to be smiling even more because I don't have to rely on my bench. Don't worry, says Phil Potter. Phil, I'm not taking what you say granted, because I remember what you were saying last week about Salah as well, and he scored big. But Salah won't play. I don't know where you're getting these thoughts, man. I think Salah will play, but I'm just hoping he doesn't score. Yeah, I did. I got Pookie in fast there. Wildcard early next week. My plan to wildcard is game week 4. That's when I plan to wildcard. For game week 5. I would come on, says Dereco, but hey G Wiz, how you doing?
All good.
Thank you. Somebody came on with me. I'm literally sat here just reading chat. G Wiz, how you doing, man? Thanks for coming on. I didn't even know you could jump into this channel. I didn't think you got permission, but okay. Welcome.
Thank you.
And are you confident with your team selection, G Wiz? And have you? I don't suppose you can post it in the Rate My Team, could you?
Oh, yeah, I can do. Bear with me a second. Let me just do that first.
That's all right.
I'm a bit old, so technology is a bit. Hold on. Talk amongst yourselves, and I'll be back in a minute. All right.
Yeah, no worries. Let's see what other people are talking about. Watch Zaha this week, says Fast Air. I mean, a lot of people are talking about Zaha. I mean, to me, it's still early on him. Shane083, welcome to the stream. Jota is a beast. I mean, he is a beast. I don't think he's going to do much against United, though. That could be me and my Man United kind of bias seeping through there. I do think Wolves will have a good season again. It's just that for me, it's wait and see. Let me just see if we're going to open this up, guys. One moment. Just screenshots and
right. I posted it for you.
Cool. This isn't his team, by the way. I'm just resizing everything because this isn't his team. Just bear with me a moment. Oh, right. So I've got a new way. Of presenting people's teams. So let's bring your team up so I can make it bigger now. So there we go. This is
I bet you say that to all the girls.
Absolutely. Let me have a look. Right. So your team.
Exactly as it was last week.
Interesting, G-Wiz. Interesting. So, it's gone with the Salah captaincy. You also own Sterling. So, the first question I want to ask you is, I've captained Sterling.
Yeah.
Why did you feel the need that Salah earned the armband for you?
Because Southampton are worse than Tottenham.
That is a very, very good point.
And another way I looked at it was, if I was to captain Sterling and Salah outscored him, would I feel worse if it was the other way round?
Are you not worried about the amount of minutes that Salah played? I mean, he's a seasoned athlete, for God's sake. But are you not concerned at obviously the midweek minutes and it's a Saturday game?
No, not at all. Liverpool will go in there 2-0 up, half time, maybe 3-0 on the hour, and then he'll just rest him up.
What happens then if Mane and Firmino get a goal it's 2-0 up. Salah's been quite involved, but doesn't get an assist. And then you're not worried that again, if Liverpool got a comfortable lead come half time, he may just take Salah off and bring on Shaqiri, or and
no, I'm not worried at all, because I'm in the same boat as about 80% of the FPL population, I reckon. Maybe 80% is a bit strong, but you get the gist.
There's a lot. To be fair, I am taking a little bit. I think risk versus reward for captaining Sterling for me isn't going to be rank threatening to the point I'm not going to dive down to like a millionth in the world because I've captained Sterling. I still own Salah. Have you heard the news about King? No, it's not news. Let me rephrase that. This is not confirmed news, but there's a rumor going around that a close relative of King's is ill, and he's had to take a leave of absence. Now, I don't know how this is. This is on Twitter. This is a rumor that's been circulated. I Notorious Nerd in our Discord posted it earlier on. So you've got Hayden, Dendoncker, Greenwood. So Dendoncker to come off the bench.
No, Hayden to come off the bench.
Oh, of course, yeah. You got 5 man. You got Hayden come off the bench. Yeah, away at Norwich if King doesn't play. So. People are saying about your double Everton defense. Is that something which you're going to steadfast up into your wild card? Are you going to stick with this Everton defense? Yeah.
Coleman and Digne, or however you pronounce him, is not leaving. Especially the way they played. It's not like they play as holding midfielders. They're half the time they're in the penalty area, the opposition penalty area. So no, they're staying.
Okay.
Wild card, I'd probably look at about. I was like yourself. I was thinking game week 4, but I might try and hold on until game week 8.
Until game week 8, all the way up there. Okay. I like to do it during the international break. I know a lot of people use that time to assess their team, and obviously we get to see a few players play as well. It is a wait and see. I'm looking at that team. You really are back. Let's be honest. A lot of the points from game week 1 were secured from defenders. I think the majority of people's point returns were, other than obviously Salah and Sterling, were from the defence. So you've got that 5-man defence. All I'm going to say is, if Everton and Liverpool concede, it could be a long weekend.
Nah.
I like your team. I really, really, really like your team. You got Edison in goal. It's pretty. So I asked the question to chat earlier. Do you think that Tottenham will score against Man City? A lot of people in chat saying yes. With the Edison, are you thinking that that he can hold out Harry Kane and Moura and the likes?
It's Man City. They're just a class above everyone else, isn't it?
I look at it. I think the possession's going to be from City. I think the counter-attacks. City do play a bit of a high line, and they are susceptible to a counter-attack. But that's not. I don't think Kane's going to be too much of a threat. I just got this. I think it's going to nullify the Tottenham threat. I wouldn't be surprised if City keep a clean sheet in this. And I just want this game to update. I don't know if anyone in chat can tell me is the game's updated yet, because I want to see what Steve-O's done. The game's still being updated. It's 48 minutes. 48 minutes have passed since the game's updating. So yeah, I was hoping for it to be done by now, so we can just react to some of the team selections in the mini league, and also Steve-O's team selection as well, because I think he's playing his cards quite close to his chest. Jason had a long run of captains last year. I'm worried now. I did have a long run of captains, and I chose Sterling a few times when he really performed. I'm really gutted that I didn't pick him last week, but it's a new week now. What time's this FPL updating dead on kickoff? Probably show me the money. It's probably going to be we're almost there now. We're only 10 minutes away. Oh, Elite FPL Steve-O's in chat saying that he's gone Sterling.
Now?
No!
You lot might as well just hand over the money to me right now.
Steve-O, why did you go Sterling, man? Why did you go Sterling? No way. Oh my God.
Has he told you?
Yeah. So
Has he told you he's gone Sterling?
Yeah, he's told me he's gone. He said he's asking who I captain. So yeah, I've gone with Sterling as well. But I've got Pookie in. So that's interesting. So that's going to be all. What's wrong with Sterling? I thought that you would go Steve-O. I thought you'd go with the safety option. You always go with the safety option, and I thought you'd go with Salah. That's why part of the reason why I was confident in going with Sterling was to get a bit of a point lead on you. But anyway, Jason's gutted. I thought you had one up on. I did. I thought I had one up on him. I thought I had one up on Steve-O, but Steve-O's surprised me there. I genuinely am surprised that Steve-O's gone with Sterling as a captain. I really am. So what's your thoughts on Sterling then, Wiz?
What do you mean?
What's your thoughts on people captaining Sterling? Yeah, for this home game at Tottenham. At home to Tottenham.
Well, if I'm speaking from the point of view as if they've got Salah as well, and I think it's worth a gamble. It's only game week 2. You're not gonna, if you've got Salah and Sterling and you captain Sterling, you're not gonna lose out by miles unless, of course, and I can't see it happening. But Salah could score a hat trick and Sterling blank, but I can't see that scenario today or this game week, I should say.
Yeah, I mean you've got that triple up of Bournemouth. People in the pre-season were talking about doubling up, tripling up. Are you still? I mean, away at Aston Villa is obviously a great fixture, but obviously moving on from then, you were talking about an early wild card. Are those 3 Bournemouth a trio that you're going to look at, changing out? Obviously, Son back game week 3 as well. You're looking at possibly moving some money around involving those 3.
The plan was always to have this team with them Bournemouth assets for the first 2 game weeks.
Yeah.
After that, the way it's set up, I can easily do. I think it was something like Fraser and Wilson.
Yeah.
To Kane and whatever's left. I think it was a 5.5.
Ceballos.
I'm not sure. But no, I'm not picking him. I was thinking of McGinn or something like that.
Yeah. Well, Ceballos is playing today, so we might have a good little glimpse of what is to possibly come from that interesting. So it's going to be an interesting game to watch. I'm looking forward to watching the game. We've got a few other people here in the waiting room. I'm going to bring hot sauce in. Wiz, if you're happy to have stay in and be almost a co-host, we'll bring in hot sauce.
Yeah. Not a problem.
Hey, hot sauce, how you doing?
Yes, mate. You okay?
Yeah, not too bad. Welcome you on air with myself on the Game Week 2 deadline update stream that we seem to be doing. We seem to be waiting for this game to update. I mean, obviously there's a lot of teams updating. There's a lot of obviously. It's at the beginning of the season. Is it me, or is it just FPL just seem every season that goes by it just takes longer and longer to update?
Oh mate, it took ages. I couldn't hardly check any of my opponents' teams, join me rival leagues and all that. So yeah, it took a while this time. It's the same. It's not loaded for me either. So
I've got your team up.
I'll tell you what took ages as well. The head-to-head leagues took ages to load.
You
know, in terms of who your opponent was, etc. So they're a bit slow this year.
Yeah, you'd have thought they'd have upgraded their servers or something, wouldn't you? All this money coming in. So we've got your team up on the screen now. Fredericks, Digne, Van Dijk, Rico at the back. I like the Rico pick. He's on my bench actually. What? So wow. Okay. So interesting. Perez, Sterling, Salah. So you're Salah and a Sterling owner as well, and you've got the privilege of owning Aubameyang for this beautiful fixture at home to Burnley. Now, Steve-O was obviously saying he thinks that Aubameyang can have a bit of a field day at home to Burnley. Obviously, you're thinking the same.
Can I just say?
Yeah.
Can I just say? I saw something on TV recently about. Because Steve-O likes his historical data.
History. I was just going to say history.
Yeah. So it came on the TV that Aubameyang in his last 3 fixtures against Burnley has popped up with 2 goals. So if he gets another 2 today, he'll join the elite list of Michael Owen and such forth who have scored 4 braces against the one opposition.
Wow.
Yeah, I think here, right, we got Fast Air saying about obviously the amount of people refreshing the site. He's absolutely right. It's probably hundreds of thousands of people trying to refresh the FPL site, and yeah, it's a lot of stress on the server. But purely for the database, I'm saying purely for the database to update and to refresh. I was purely saying that. Yeah, so at the moment the website's still down. Hot Sauce, I've got your team up here. Like I said, I'm going to keep an eye. Guys in chat, let me know when the website comes up so we can go through some of the teams, obviously in the top 4 of the Cash League. Immediately, have you heard this rumor with Josh King? And are you ready for Hollerbest to come out off the bench if needed?
Yeah, to be fair, I mean, you just flagged my team up then and went obviously singled out Rico.
Yes.
Initially, when I planned my team, Hollerbest was always going to play this game week because they got drubbed 3-0. Rico's kind of gone in because I wasn't expecting much for him, so that's kind of why Rico's currently on. But he's playing attacking fullback, so if he starts, he's in the chance with some points.
On corners as well.
Yeah, he's on corners. To be honest, the first time I heard the King rumor was through the Discord today. So, but it was like 10 minutes to the deadline. I'd already just done that. Because you know who Aubameyang's been swapped for, don't you? I'd done the Kane.
Yes, the hokey pokey, yeah.
So there's no way I was going to be taking a hit. And at the end of the day, Hollerbest is not the worst player to come on. I mean, no. Everton also blanked last week. You know, if Watford, I didn't like Watford's shape last week. I know they struggling with players returning, and you know Delafeo's a bit all over the place, and Pereira only managed a few minutes. But I think if Watford line up properly and respect their opposition, then they could get men behind the ball this time. So if worse comes to worse, Hollerbest, I think he's a better sub to have than maybe Dendoncker.
You've got a playing bench. There's people out there that maybe aren't as fortunate, and you know they've just gone with the cheap options. That and I like the fact that you've got that Dendoncker, you've got the Hayden, and you're the Hollerbest.
I'm gonna play Dendoncker next week. Yeah. I was quite impressed with him against Leicester. He's always a threat from corners, but he looked quite good. There were a couple of times where he was sort of lurking around the edge. But I'm happy to play Dendoncker as a one-off next week against Burnley while I roll a transfer.
Excellent.
I just don't know whether this Aubameyang's going to pay off. I was so close to rolling my transfer because obviously Kane is coming back next week, and I do kind of want one or two United assets. I wanted to move on to Martial. That price rise annoyed me so much because it just messes you up. You can't, you have this nice 7.5, but like a couple of you guys may have Fraser or something like Lucas Moura. It just completely messes up. It means you have to take a hit, and it's just such an awkward 7.6.
It is.
So it's such a horrible. That's what kind of. Maybe it's a blessing for me because that's what made my final decision to do the hokey cokey with Kane to Aubameyang. So we'll see.
Apparently the game's updated, so let me just log in again. So we've got 3 different captaincy picks in all of us here. I think it could be one of those weeks where it cancels each other out, and maybe, and it's not going to be the be all or end all. But we've got other people waiting to come on. Hot Sauce, by all means. Thank you so much for sharing your team.
Good catch.
I mean, you've got interest in there. We've got come back on Hot Sauce later on today with Steve-O stream and talk to me about talk to Steve-O because I'm not unfortunately going to be around. Talk to Steve-O about your Aubameyang.
Yeah, I'll have a chat.
Otherwise, your team is good to go, as you're already aware. The interest in Frederick's pick at Brighton there, you could easily get a clean sheet there, and Henderson at home to Crystal Palace. You'd hope that Salah has a bit of a quiet game.
Yeah, them 120 minutes put me off. I mean, I was happy to captain Salah if I didn't do the Kane switch, but those 120 minutes, because I know you guys mentioned it a minute ago, but the game didn't finish till gone midnight, so it's not only just 120 minutes. They were still playing into the early hours. They've got an away game, Southampton, so they've had to travel. I'm not saying, there's no doubt about it, he'll start. And he's fit enough, but is he going to be 100%? He needs to be.
I mean, if I was bringing in
Southampton are full of running.
If I was doing your transfer, Kane to Aubameyang, I couldn't look past the Aubameyang captain. I think you made the right decision there, and I think in the next 90 minutes, the game's obviously about to kick off now. I think you'll be a happy man. I've got a good feeling that Aubameyang will do you well.
I hope you're right, pal. I'm going to sit and watch it.
Yeah,
and I'll
enjoy, buddy. Enjoy.
Later.
Yeah, speak to Steve later and let us know how you get on. That's awesome. Another player there, another manager that's got a different captain other than me, obviously me. I've gone with Sterling. I'm going to bring my team up now so you can see exactly who I've got in my team. So this is my team. The game is now updated. I'm on 0 points, but obviously I'm not panicking just yet. And I've got the mighty Pookie. I joined the Pookie train yesterday. I'm convinced that he can do something at home to Newcastle. I am planning an early wild card, so I'm not putting all my eggs in a few baskets. Obviously, got Wilson there as cover still. And with the news this morning with King possibly not featuring, it's only going to be an added bonus. Let me just bring in Nasu. Nasu, you've been waiting a few minutes to come on. Nasu, very quickly, are you able to post your team in the Rate My Team?
Yeah, bro. What's up? It's in there. I'll send it again.
It's fine. I'll see if I can find it for you. Nasu, are you happy with your team selection this week? Going obviously now the game week 2 is about to kick off.
Only weakness in my team I see is Gilbert and King, even possibly not playing. But I'll see. I have 2 transfers this week, so I can see.
Well, I've got your team up. You've got 2 free, so you've banked a transfer. You've gone with a safety option with Salah away at Southampton. Obviously, play the long minutes midweek. You've got Barkley in your team with Sigurdsson and De Bruyne in your midfield. So I'm going to read through your team. Ryan in goal, home to West Ham. I can see him doing something there. Alexander-Arnold, Van Dijk, 2 great picks for Liverpool. If Liverpool keep a clean sheet, you can be in big points this week. Digne at home to Watford. We all know Digne's got attacking threat, and Gilbert is obviously the question mark. I just don't see him keeping a clean sheet. I would be playing Lundstram myself over Gilbert. I do like the look of where Lundstrom's obviously playing midfield and very attacking. We'll wait and see on that one. Sterling, vice captain. Salah's your captain. I think sensible. A lot of people have gone with Salah as a safety choice, and it's a nice fixture. De Bruyne there with Barkley and Sigurdsson. I mean, looking at this team, I'd expect a decent point score this week. The only thing I would say, Lundstram, obviously with King being your sole striker there, you will have to be prepared for that inevitable transfer in of Wickham.
Won't it be Greenwood?
Oh yeah. No, it'll be
Wickham.
It'll be Wickham. It'll be Wickham.
Yeah, it'll be Wickham. Yeah,
it'll be Wickham. Yeah. It'll be Wickham that comes in because you have to play a forward. So So I would be But if Wickham, yes, you'll just be hoping that they get some minutes there. But interesting 4-5-1 there. Hold on to the King. Obviously, hope and pray that he plays. And look forward to hearing you if you're able to come on and speak to Steve-O later on. That's great. That's great. Yeah, it's gone. That's gone. So let me just go through some of the teams quickly before we go and watch this Arsenal game. So if I bring up the Challenge League on the stream now, and you guys can see whereabouts the top 4 and what. So the top 4 and what they've picked. So top of the league at the moment is Charlie Hayne. He's called Gilfy Pleasures. He's currently on 1 point with Aubameyang in his team. He hasn't gone with so he's gone with a Sterling captaincy. Interesting. So he's got Aubameyang in his team, but he's not captaining him. He's captain Sterling like myself. This is interesting. You've got Pookie in his team as well. McGinn, he's played his wild card.
What? Game week 2 wild card.
Some people in their wild cards this season so far.
Daily Llama,
Wow.
What is going on here? The top of the league in a cash league, £400 up for grabs. Game week 2, he's brought in Pereira for Man United. What is this? Okay. Wow.
Give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to check and see if I can find the boy's head.
I'm literally blown away at this. I had no idea that he'd wildcarded. And I had no idea that he brought Aubameyang and didn't captain him. He's gone with Sterling over Aubameyang. If I had Aubameyang in my team, I would probably captain him. Interesting team there. Van Dijk, Digne, Wan-Bissaka. Sigurdsson, Sterling, Salah, Pereira. I don't know if I wouldn't be bringing Pereira in my team. I would be interested to know what his long-term plan is for Pereira. Very interesting. Obviously, it's a price point of 5 million. That's, it's an awkward price point to bring a player in at there, and I think it's just a filler player, isn't it? I would probably play Lundstrom over Pereira this week. McGinn home to Bournemouth, and Pukki and Aubameyang. I mean, this is an interesting. I don't know if he's made the most out of his wild card. Chat, what do you think? I don't think he's made the most.
My gas is just flabbered, really and truly.
I
just see that as a madness.
Yeah, it's almost like jumping on the success of Game Week 1.
Charlie, if you're listening, or Charlie, if you watch this back on the replay, you need to get on tonight and speak to Steve-O and discuss and let us know what, because by then tonight we'll know if a lot of these picks have actually paid off. In fact, we'll know if all of them have paid off. Please come on and speak to Steve-O. Wildcard played Game Week 2, top of the Cash League. Wow, mind blown. Absolutely mind blown. Let's go and have a look to see what second place has done. So immediately, I consider that to be an advantage for me.
Definitely.
Second place.
I can see you ticking that little box right in front of you there on that bit of paper.
Second place in the Cash League. This is the Cash League, the £400 jackpot. Aardvark FC, Nick Reed. He's captained Aubameyang. He's got Aubameyang in his lineup, and he's gone with Greenwood as well. Away at Wolves, he's doubled up with Martial and Greenwood. He's a Man United fan. Is he letting his club affiliation mar his FPL selection? I'm not sure. I'm not sure that team's going to be.
I think Greenwood's going to knock Dundonker coming off the bench with that team.
I don't know.
That's what happened to me last.
Yeah,
week.
Greenwood. I think Greenwood could get. Yeah, Greenwood's. I mean, unless Greenwood starts away at Wolves, I don't think he will. But I think he will feature in the game. I mean, that's an interesting team. That's a very interesting team. Wilson, he's got some big hitters in there. Aubameyang, Wilson, Sterling, Salah. He's got Van Dijk and Zinchenko. Yeah, so a lot of picks that other people have got in their team. But it's the interesting pick with Martial, Greenwood, and even now Barkley being one of those. It's a wait and see for me with Barkley. It's a wait and see for me on Martial. It's 3 wait and sees in that team, but it could do him well with that Aubameyang. Aubameyang captain could save Nick Reed's game week. I'm calling it now. Nick Reed, interesting. So 2 teams at top of the Cash League right now that have made some very interesting choices. Third place, Ray Joyce, 104 points last week. They're all tied on 104 points. He's got Rashford up front with Wilson. I like that. He's stuck with Trossard. I think so basically, looking at that team, he's gone with a safety option of Salah as a captain, Sterling, Perez as well, and Wan-Bissaka, Arnold, Van Dijk, Digne, and Ryan in goal. That's a very, very strong team. I like that team.
Yeah.
I think.
Is Trossard going to play?
Say again?
Is Trossard going to play?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think the way the press conference went, it looks like Trossard could be getting picked to start home games. But then, you don't know. That's what I've kept him in my team for this week.
Interesting.
But I think that's, as you say, Jason, I totally agree. I think that's a really strong
That's
team.
A very strong team. I will be expecting good points out of Ray Joyce, and coming from the Oceanic timeline and coming on with Steve-O, hopefully one of the mornings, and we can talk to him about this, because I think he's going to score well this week. And last,
what's your aim?
Sorry,
what's your aim point wise this week, Jason?
What's my aim? I want to get over 60 points.
What about you, Wiz? What's a good game week look like for yourself?
65. Every week, that's my top. Well, every week my minimum is 50, but I do aim for 65.
Okay, 65. That's a very, very strong. That's a very strong score. We've got Persona Non Grata's team here, which is it's a Swedish FPL manager here, and we're looking at his team. We've got him. He's got King up front. Oh, let's hope that he plays. He's gone with Salah captain, Sterling and De Bruyne in his team as well, like myself. He's got Martial there as his vice captain. And interestingly, he's gone with a double Brighton defense of Dunk and Ryan, and the popular, obviously, Everton defender, obviously people with Digne and Coleman. Obviously, he's gone with Coleman. That's a strong team. Ryan, Robertson, Laporte, Dunk, Van Dijk, Coleman. I don't know if I'd be confident with double Brighton at home to West Ham. I think West Ham have got something in them there. Martial, interesting. It's a wait and see, but it could definitely pay off. De Bruyne, Salah, Sterling. That's a strong team. It's just hope to God that King features for you. Otherwise, you're gonna have Greenwood coming in, and hopefully, it's not just for 1 point. Thank you so much for that subscribe there, Lucas. Thank you. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and hit the like button as well. This is just purely talking about the teams going into game week 2. Obviously, the interesting. I mean, I'm very surprised at some of these selections in the Cash League. I'm really quite rubbing my hands together. I'm thinking I got a chance here to catch up these points.
I don't know if I've missed this yet, Jason, but when did you change your mind and take King out and put Pookie in? Because you were dead set against that move at the start of the week. At
the start of the week, I wanted to bank a transfer. But the more people that were banging on about Pookie, I kind of looked at Pookie. I watched his highlight reel again last season. All the goals he scored, his movement in the box he's great. He's got a great right foot, and to be honest, he's got a lot of service in that Norwich team. I just think that Newcastle fixture, I couldn't look past it. I was thinking, you know what? I didn't know anything about this King rumour, and by all means, I hope for a lot of people this King rumour isn't true, because it's going to really break a few teams, I think, because a lot of teams have got awkward, Greenwood coming in.
Wait a minute. Your rivals, you mean?
Oh yeah, of course. I'm talking. I mean, with my rival hat on, I don't care, but I just thought, you know what? I'm planning on an early wild card anyway. Why not just give it a go?
Okay.
Why not give it a go? He's my one risk in my team.
Have you brought up Stevo's team then, just so you can see it in full?
Let's bring him up.
I just want to say, Resi Desi in the chat is talking about captain picks this week.
I've seen
posted.
Yeah.
He's posted Sterling 15%, Salah 29%, or Aubameyang 15%, and Kane 9%. Captain picks this
interesting. Week. Kane 9% have gone with Kane.
9%.
Interesting. So I've got Stevo's team up here.
Is this the all right?
All right. So he's banked the transfer. So he's done what I said I was going to do, and he's actually done it. So he's gone with Pope. Oh, Pope. I don't know if he's going to. I don't think he's going to get anything from Pope. I really don't.
No, I don't.
That 1 point there, I think that's going to stay one. Van Dijk, Zinchenko, Digne.
You know what he should have done? He should have picked Ryan. That's what he should have done.
He should have done, yeah. He should have picked Ryan.
I'm only joking. I know he hates the word Ryan, so I only wanted to mention it.
You're going to trigger him.
I think his point.
Apparently, they've just scored. Apparently, there's a goal. Lacazette.
Oh.
So there we go. Pope.
Oh,
so
lovely.
I just said that Pope's not going to get more than one. It's looking likely. Straight away, 1-0 to Arsenal. Pope conceding and Laka getting the goal. Who got the assist? Who got the assist? Was it Aubameyang? I think everyone's going to be asking that question. Is it going to be a game week where Lacazette gets the limelight and Aubameyang is kind of quiet? I mean, there's going to be a lot of Aubameyang captainers now. Ceballos, no, don't tell me.
No way. Nice.
No. I don't know. J Boy said Ceballos. I mean, I don't know if he's trolling there, but I'm going to be keeping an eye on that young that Ceballos, that low price point player. So interestingly, that's the top 4 of the Cash League, and that's Stevo's team here. I'm going to put my team back on the screen now and just run through where I feel I'm going to get the points. I genuinely think that this transfer to Pookie, I know it's a bit of a bandwagon. I know a lot of people are talking about the King to Pookie transfer. I do feel that Pookie transfer will pay off for me. It will get me, I think, maybe not double digits, but I'm thinking 8 or more points.
I'm sat on the same bandwagon as you, though.
I'm quite happy with that.
Signature.
I'm quite happy with that. I'm thinking that he's going to return 7 or more points easily at home to Newcastle. I mean, I
think the only difference I can see is I done a coin toss earlier.
You did a coin
between Salah and Sterling, posted it for you, and I landed on
Oh
Salah.
my God, people are saying it's Ceballos assist. It is Ceballos defo.
Is it? Right,
well,
okay. I'm waiting for the fantasy football fix live update feed to update with an assist.
Well,
It's just got the Alexander Lacazette goal. It's not showing an assist at the moment.
Well, people are saying in chat they've tweeted it out. It's a Ceballos assist, right? Everyone get Ceballos in. Interestingly, he was in my team, in my draft team, for game week 1, and obviously he was, yeah, and obviously then he had that fitness worry, the slight niggle. I do think Ceballos is going to do really well for Arsenal this season. And at 5.5, you really, I mean, if he does something else this game, God forbid, if he does something else this game, there's going to be an absolute landslide of managers bringing him in. But 5.5, if he's going to be a mainstay in that Arsenal attack, wow, absolutely.
That's your McGinn move sorted for you.
It may turn GWiz's head away from.
Jump on this other bandwagon.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I will actually watch this game. So thanks for joining me today.
Yeah.
Thank you ever so much. Steve-O will be live this evening. He's going to be doing a solo live this evening to talk about all of the fixtures and all the results that today is. I think majority of people's teams are going to be playing. Players are going to be playing in today's games. Thank you ever so much. Hit that subscribe and like button if you haven't already done so. And look forward to Steve-O's stream at 8 o'clock this evening. All the best, everybody. And I hope all of your points come in and all of those differentials pay off. Good work. Cheers. Thank you ever so much, GWiz, for joining me. And Daily Llama, thank you ever so much. It would have been a very lonely stream.
Take care, guys. Enjoy.
And Philippe747 will get you on tonight if you're available to talk. Cheers. Thank you.
Just of interest, whereabouts are you? Not in the world, but are you near like an industrial machine or something? It's very 2 seconds. Just ask a couple of questions. I just need to get the door for a second.
No
Sorry,
problem,
this is what happens when you're live.
What's going on? Not really. I'm waiting to go to gym. What about yourself? Live on YouTube doing a stream.
Why do you feel that you're constantly changing your teammate? Is it just there's just so many ideas?
So many ideas, so many different perspectives. I blame Brett Mollison for his 5 at back, because when you see my new team,
wow.
Brighton home, they couldn't buy a goal in the last season.
Well, I don't know. Dan's got Glenn Murray. I think he'll have a word to say about that.
I'm detecting possibly a German accent. I'm probably completely way out. But where are you calling us from?
South Africa.
On the first day, I literally just typed in FPL, like first draft, and yours came up like first. So I thought, oh, well, I'll watch one of the live streams when it comes on. And then I thought, this is a bit long, isn't it? About 2 hours in. And then 3 hours later, well, an hour later, I was like, yeah, these seem alright, you know. Stephen's not that bad.
I have one question for you. I want you to predict the order of the Elite FPL ranking. So, like, who do you think will finish first, second, and third out of y'all three this season?
So it's certainly no disrespect to Dan, but it's certainly going to be between me and Jason. And right now, as it stands, I'd go with Jason because my history suggests that I'm going to be having a bad season.
So I've got the 5 at the back. I just see a lot of value there. I feel like if I don't have Salah, I can spread the money elsewhere and maybe get the points another way.
All the teams now, except for obviously Salah and Sterling, these players, a lot of players are going to change towards the start of the season just because of new transfers, injuries that could happen, and all of that. So for me to tell you now, like personally right now, I'd say definitely if Tammy Abraham or Batshuayi are cheap, I'd get one of them just because I don't care about the Man United. We can score against them at least 2 or 3.
Hey guys, this season we're using Discord. It's a text and voice application where you can talk all things FPL with fellow community members. You can post your team in the Rate My Team, talk in the general chat, you can look at transfer news, look at awesome GIFs, sign up for our Cash Mini League, look at our previous podcasts, and even join us live on air in one of our streams. We look forward to seeing you guys. Link is in the description, or look at the code on screen.